Hi, hello, howdy, and hey, welcome back. Well, we are officially into January 2023. Now that all the decorations are down, I really needed to have a break. I have this list of things that I want to do. Remember, going back to all those goals, right? So I have a list of things that I want to do. And this year, I decided that it is okay for me to not hit the ground running on the 1st. So I decided to give myself a couple of days to just really kind of be a slug and not do anything at all. I know that I have my crash day. So like after the big to-do for Christmas and New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all of that, after all of that, I knew that I needed to take a couple of days to not be worried about food or presents or people coming over, anything like that, and to just not do anything maybe but watch a little bit of TV and get ready for hitting the ground running this next week. And I'm really glad that I did. This last week I got to hang out with my daughter. She was nominated for middle school homecoming court, and she was not crowned the queen. That was last night. However, she was stunning, absolutely gorgeous. She was grace and class in motion. She just blew my mind how amazing she was. And that's not just me talking. I mean, there was a lot of people that said things about how she looked, how she acted, how she held herself, and I could just really not be any more proud to have her as my daughter. Now, at home, she's often a klutzy goofball, and I don't know if you've noticed, but like my backdrop, I want to change it. Like I'm ready to make some changes back here too. But I don't have my lights on because she was goofing off over here at my desk, and somehow or another, I'm not sure exactly how she did it, but somehow or another, she managed to get one of the light strands hung up in the wheels of my chair, which they don't even hit the ground. So I have no idea what she did. So she ripped a couple of them off, and so they don't light up on one of them. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna do the whole thing and just set it up just a little bit differently. And I have not had a chance to go out because I was being a slug to go get the rest of the backdrop. Now today, I wanted to talk a little bit more, kind of piggybacking on what I did with the goals. When I decided back in 2014 that I was definitely going to put myself on this journey, I met several people that kind of brought me into a new way of thinking. And it's learning how to communicate with the universe. Now, what I want to do is sort of explain to you what I consider the universe, or what everybody pretty much considers the universe, and the names that go along with it. So, I consider the universe, you could call it the source of all life. A lot of people will call it God. I also call it God. Those who don't believe in a singular God, you can consider like the combinations of multiple gods. Basically, the universe is that mysterious energy that is grander than all of us and encompasses every single thing that is living. Now, with the universe, these people were kind of teaching me some things, and some people might kind of go, whatever, but a lot of it started to make sense. And one of the things that they said is that the universe does not understand negative language. And I was like, what do you mean by that? So basically the example that they gave me was, if you said in a prayer or some sort of thought or verbalization to God, source, universe, and you put your thoughts out there, the energetic, mysterious thing that we call God or whatever is going to interpret it without negative language. Here's an example. If I were to say, I don't want to be so crazy busy this year. They said that the universe hears, I do want to be crazy busy this year because my focus is on the crazy busy this year. And if I were to put that out there, what happens is things get crazy busy. Good thing, bad thing, whatever. But things begin to get hectic. They said instead, rephrase it to say, I would like things to be a little more calm, pleasant, and easier this year. Okay, so I basically just said the same thing without using the words no or not or any kind of negative insinuation. And it took me a while to realize that there were so many things in all of the traumas that I had experienced, in the way that I put my thoughts out there, that I was actually focused on the things that I did not want by saying I didn't want them. So what I had to do was totally change my thinking and start wording not just what I said so that people could hear it, but my entire thought process, and remove as many of the no's and nots as I could. And gradually, I started to see a huge difference. I started to notice a shift. And it wasn't even gradually. It seemed maybe like it was gradually, but I started notice things a little bit at a time changing. So instead of thinking, how, you know, I'm not going to have enough money to pay my bills this month, then guess what? That was what was going to happen. Not having enough money, being stressed about money. I don't want to be stressed about money this year. Guess what? I was stressed about money. Throughout the process, I guess I did struggle. I don't want to say struggle. It was a process to change your thinking. Believe it or not, old dogs can learn new tricks. I am testament to that. So sort of like the yin and yang. You cannot have all positive with no negative. You can't have all negative with no positive. And there has to be a balance. Now, when we start to throw things out of balance by thinking negative thoughts, what we're doing is we're just drawing this negativity to us. And this starts to throw things out of balance and creates chaos in our lives. All right, so here's the other thing too that I want to put out here. I'm not here to debate religion. My focus here is to be all-encompassing in everyone's belief system so that you can integrate some of these processes that will help you. But for me, as I started going through a lot of this, and God just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, something just kept rattling around in my head. And it was my 7th and 8th grade science teacher when she talked about energy. And the definition of energy is that it cannot be created or destroyed. And it can, however, change forms. And the more I thought about that, the more I thought, okay, well, that pretty much fits the definition of what we call God. And it's everything. There is no time that we don't have this universal, energetic force at work. One of the things that, I don't know, I guess for some people, the way to think about the way that, you know, the energy goes out and then comes back, I think of it as like sort of a boomerang, okay? The boomerang is it's spinning and spinning and spinning. It's picking up other negative things and it comes back to me and it dumps a whole lot more negative stuff in my lap. Just remember, when that boomerang gets sent out, it's not a slick boomerang like you see when you go to Outback. Oh, no, 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 no. It's a sticky boomerang. It is sticky like those cricket mats. That even though you keep them as far away from your cats as possible, you have cat hairs and weird dust and things that maybe came from your neighbor's house. Who knows? Those mats pick up everything. That boomerang is like that. Things that you don't realize are in your life, the cricket mats pick up and they make it sing to you. So you have to like clean them and fix them and do all these other things. That's what this boomerang is like. So throwing negative energy out there is just going to go around and pick up all that negative energy and bring it right back and dump it in your lap until you have to deal with it. So I would rather throw a boomerang out and say good things, positive things. So that sticky is going to pick up more good things and more positive things, and it's going to come back and it's going to dump that in my lap. That's what I want out of life. I want to see not just a difference, but to know that I have the power to make a difference in my life just by the way that I think. It's crazy, right? This is one of the first steps that you can do. Making the goals. Well, one of these goals could be for you changing your thought process, because positive thinking is so powerful. I am going to give you an example. My best friend, she and I, we've been talking about this, and she's kind of followed along this journey with me, and she's tried to implement some of the things that I started implementing into my life as well. And we were having these conversations, and there were some difficult situations, difficult issues and stuff like that. And I was listening to her talk, and I said, have you tried changing the way that you think? So instead of staying in a negative place where you're feeling yucky on the inside, what if you change your thought processes and what you put out there are the things that you truly want? You know, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, whatever it is. And you're putting those thoughts out there. So I told her, she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, sometimes it's just like a lot of mumbo jumbo. And I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. Try it. Try it for a couple of days and let me know. And I'm not kidding. She called me back and she was like, oh my God, it worked. So we sat down, we had a long talk. We used to go out to eat and just about how this was working. And she's like, well, I didn't want to be too specific. So something that had happened was, it fell under the thought that she put out there. And she said, well, I didn't want to be too specific. And I said, here's what you should do. Be extremely specific on what you want to achieve exactly, down to minor details. And she's like, you don't think that that's, I said, just try it. Just try it. And sure enough, like the next week, she's like, are you kidding me right now? And I watched this process that I've been trying to do for several years now, and I just watched her life change. She had been sort of stagnated in this, not necessarily great, not necessarily horrible, but sort of stagnated. And at this point, her life was just kind of in limbo. And I said, okay, so you want to move forward with your life and maybe try a few of these things. And she did. And she moved out of state and she's very happy. And she feels like she is in a place that she can call home. I cannot be any happier for her. When it comes to this, now, of course, I miss our weekly, you know, goss sessions that we would have and, you know, long conversations. But this was one of those things that I had been seeing it work in my life for so long that when I saw it happen to her, it just renewed my excitement about it. And I definitely wanted to cover it on the channel. So that's definitely a good example of how you can see a situation go from sort of stagnated and a little bit lost and not sure what to do to all of a sudden being just this green light to happiness. Does that mean that she's never going to be unhappy again? Probably not. I mean, it's life, okay? We have to learn along the way. So we're going to have challenges, and we change the way that we put our thoughts, our prayers, our requests, our words and actions. If we change the way we put those out, what comes back is amazing. Absolutely amazing. My process of positive thinking has put me here. My positive thinking last year was to start meeting some people who could appreciate me for me and not expect me to change for them. It was huge. That was the biggest thing that instigated the whole journey to begin with, is that I had been through so many things in my life and I was changing myself to make other people happy. In the process, making myself miserable. Positive thinking has brought me to becoming a writer, which is what I went to college to do. And it was something that a lot of people told me I was very, very good at. I just stopped believing in myself because life happened. The daily grind kicked in. And I put my pen down. I did meet somebody who said, you are incredible. Everything about you, even your crazy days. And you need to embrace that. So this is what I'm doing. And what I want to do is I want to share that everybody is incredible in some way. But we focus on so many of the negative things in life. We don't pat ourselves on the back. We don't love ourselves the way that we're supposed to. And when we do that, we get this negative cycle. So one of your goals, I'm hoping this year, would be to change your thinking. Be careful in using the words no and not. One of the things that has been part of my life as well is dealing with negative and positive energies in, like, somebody's home or, you know, something that's coming from the other side. And when doing a cleansing, there's certain things that you can say or do, and a lot of the times people will do like the sage, and then they'll say, you know, negative energy is not allowed here, so on and so forth. And when I sat and thought about it, I was like, that's not the way to say it. So you have to change the way that you say things. You have to change the way you think. And whether it's a ghost or not, it doesn't matter. If you're cleansing your house of negative energy, then what you do is you put that thought process out there and say, only positive energy is allowed in my home. All negative energy must leave. So powerful. And since I started doing that, my home has felt so much lighter and brighter and better. the point is, when you want to get rid of something that is holding you down, then release it. When you focus on it by saying no and not, thinking that you're trying to say you want to get rid of it, you're still focusing on it, you're hanging on to it. Let it go. Let it go. And then send it away by saying only positive energy can be here. Only positive energy can be inside of me. And when you change that one thing, it seems so insignificant, but it can change your entire life. Okay. So that's my challenge for everyone today, is to step back. Think about how you word things. Think about the prayers that you put out, the thoughts that you put out to the universe. And focus on positive language, positive energy, and positive thinking. You would not believe how different your world will be. Thank you again for coming and hanging out with me today. I do appreciate everyone. I started to get a couple of comments. I'm really, really hoping that, again, we could start some of these conversations via comments and likes and subscribers so that we can reach more and more people to make our little universe happier, healthier, and more prosperous. Thanks again. I appreciate all your support. I will see you next time.